Withdraw. Yeah.
You late, you snooze, you lose.
Sorry. Chairman, committee members, Dave Pulliam, I'm the Chief of our Habitat Division, and I would first like to apologize. I had a family issue that popped up, and I thought I had enough time in my assessment of this to get back, but evidently some of these items went faster than I was predicting, so I apologize for that. I'm just going to have a brief update in that the last update I gave on the wine cup situation was that the Pickens sale had fallen through and the BLM had received no proposal from Wine Cup or anything. That has changed. Wine Cup is now, the ranch itself is proposing that the ranch, which consists of 250,000 acres of private land and 750,000 acres of public land, become a wild horse sanctuary. They're projecting approximately to start out with initially 8,000 horses. Within a year, boost that up to 10,000 horses to be run on their private during the growing season and on the public land during the non-growing season, supposedly. They also think they can increase that 100 or 10,000 horses by a third after a couple more years, and they're focusing on irrigated pasture, that type of thing, increasing carrying capacity up to those levels. The BLM, has identified that in order to implement such a proposal, there'd have to be a change in the Wild Horse and Burro Act, number one. And number two, they would have to go through a public NEPA process in terms of addressing the horse use on the public land part of the whole scenario there. I don't think they're very supportive or favorable of trying this in this country, in the West here. They do have these sanctuary type operations in the Midwest, pasture operations where they're maintaining, I think, almost 30,000 horses in captivity in those areas and paying through the nose, I might add, to keep those horses going. This was presented to the Elko County Commission. A significant discussion was had at their meeting there. They talked about their concern for impacts to wildlife. They talked about concerns for controlling horses and keeping them off the adjacent highways in that vicinity as far as a public safety issue. They talked about just the basically inability to manage horses you know, in that manner, and there was a lot of discussion. Ultimately, the county commission passed a resolution to not support this project. However, they did open the door to any additional new information could be brought forth to them for reevaluation, but at this time they're opposing that project. I think that today I initiated some communication with our eastern region to put together the wildlife data that we have for that 750,000 acres of public land and the private land too, and what are the values out there. As you know, and this commission and previous commissions have responded to the problems with managing wild horses in Nevada. This is in my view, an unmanageable situation with that many horses, and there's absolutely no way that habitat won't be impaired when no matter what you do with those horses in terms of having that many horses out there on the public or on wildlife habitat. So I am putting together some information, wildlife information. I believe we're going to, and I'm proposing that we communicate with the Secretary of Interior on this issue. It is in front of his plate, as well as the Director of BLM and, of course, the local BLM on our opposition to this deal, and leave that open for you guys to decide if you'd like to respond to any of this. So, and that's about the situation as I know it today, which is different. I reported the last time that, you know, that we hadn't heard anything specific, and now it is here.
Would you make sure that at the appropriate time you put it on the agenda for the commission I was told by BLM last night or night before that there's nothing we do now and we just gotta wait, because he forwarded everything to Salza already. But when we need to put it on the agenda, when we should react, would you make sure
Sure.
the commission gets on their agenda?
We're not going to hesitate. We're going to send a letter now. We don't have to agendize it, so
Yeah.
I'll do that in February. And
We
I
can't
think
do anything until February.
I think we should do it regardless in February, and he can have it whenever he's going to make the decision. And I don't think they're going to render. Nothing happens in the federal government overnight. So,
And bring us the data you're gonna have on the wildlife on the 750,000 acres, and bring that stuff to us
Absolutely.
also. Commissioner Macbeth?
Yes, thank you, Chairman Lynn. What was there any discussion is just how they were going to keep these 8,000 or 10,000 horses on that 100,000 acres?
On the 250,000?
Yeah.
Well, actually,
On
I
Maine?
wasn't at the meeting, but the minutes reflect that they're prepared to invest $5 million in facilities, additional irrigated pasture. They're talking about using forage, to accustom those horses to that forage resource and be able to control them that way. They're talking about additional fencing and all of those types of things. But as you know, fencing, normal rangeland fencing does not
just
prohibit horses from
suggestion.
going anywhere. So I don't know. I think that was the big question, but maybe you can add some specifics.
Real quick to help answer that, Ken Wellington, for the record, Elko County, I was at the meeting. They brought up helicopters is what they were going to use to maintain and control the fenced areas.
Well, the environmentalists love that.
Yeah, well,
I haven't. Another thing real quick is on the letter, I brought this to you guys in August, at the August meeting, and this commission actually did take a stand. If you read your August minutes from the 14th and 15th, page 21 and 24, I believe it was Commissioner Burro was one of the ones who stepped up and says, we need to initiate this, and Chairman Lynch, you were right along with that, to initiate a letter and partner up and get that letter sent to, I believe we were going to send one to Abby and Salazar, and that's exactly what our county commission did in Elko County. And I believe as you guys did, it actually initially, when we talked about doing that, and it's in the minutes of the thing that you did take some action regarding that already in the August meeting.
I had forgotten that, and we'll include that in our letter, that the commission, what the commission's desires were.
But that was a different situation, though. That was the Wayne Cup Ranch being sold to that we, as I remember it, to Pickens, and they were going to do something. Now, this is a different course altogether.
I actually presented it and said that the Pickens was out, because I presented it. Pickens was out at that time, and that they were actually going to take it over themselves. And, not to make light of it, but I mean, these guys keep coming up with, now they want to do a lodge, they want to do hay rides, they want to do all this. And I said the only thing they're missing is a cotton candy machine and a Ferris wheel. And so we have been very proactive, and it has been very successful. And again, if we can, the letters would be really appreciated. I know our county commission sent one to Salazar, and they called Senator Reed's office, and we've gone proactive on this, and I think we're going to win this battle.
A couple weeks ago, I called Megan Brown, who's the executive for the Nevada Cattlemen Association, because we were directed to work with them, if you recall, to write a letter. And I've been waiting for Megan to pull the trigger. The Cattlemen Association is still getting all their information together and whatnot, so I deferred to her to let us know when it was that they felt comfortable putting together the letter to send it. So we haven't forgotten about it. We're just trying to make sure it's coordinated.
Well, if the minutes did reflect that, then you can use the commission, but I still want to see it in February
You bet.
on the agenda. Action. Okay, thank you. Now I'll take a motion to adjourn. Move to adjourn. Second. Second. Adjourn.
8:30 tomorrow.
Till